Australian Grand Prix race day 1991, and race director Roland Brunchereider gives the signal, and out goes Eric Comas for the half-hour warm-up, as it is called, final half-hour of practice. And this is in many ways the most interesting practice period of them all, because although it is only half an hour long, it is the only one where the cars are really in race condition before they start. Now, as they go out, they will have full tanks, they will be on race tyres, and we all hope that the conditions are the same as they will be for the race, maybe even a bit better when the start comes. And what is going to be very interesting when we have all the times at the end of this half hour is to see how the McLarens, and that is Gerhard Berger's, with their Honda V12 engines, compare in time terms with the Williams with their Renault V10s. I say that because the Honda technicians produce special qualifying engines which give greater power than their race engines. The Renault people are not as adept at it, and I would expect there to be a much smaller gap between the McLaren times and the Williams times at the end of this half hour than there were at the end of yesterday's 60-minute qualifying session. Well, Gerhard Berger's on a quick one now. You can see by the way the car's sitting on the road, and you can see from the downforce that's being created by the speed, which is generating those sparks from underneath the front wing and the parts of the car that are scraping on the ground, to get the ground clearance as small as possible and to maximise the aerodynamic effect of the bodywork. It's JJ Leto, the Finnish driver in the Dallara Judd V10, who is following Gerhard Berger, and getting a lesson on how to go really quickly around Adelaide. Gianni Morbidelli is fastest in the Ferrari at the moment. The times have come down from round about 1:26 to 1:23, 8 minutes into the session.
That's Johnny Herbert's Lotus parked, and he's getting away from it, so that's a problem for the Lotus team. Particularly busy morning this morning because of the rain overnight. We've got a track washed clean, and this makes for different tyre conditions, so there will be a lot of work. And there's the replay of Herbert sliding off. He's losing the back end of his car. He'll be hoping to get that back undamaged to get to work on it. But this is, as I say, different tyre conditions. The track's been washed clean, and so the tyre technicians will be checking temperatures and everything very carefully to make sure that they're going to be able to go the distance and that their wear and temperatures are going to be all right for today. The good news for them, of course, is with the cloud cover that the ambient temperatures are neither particularly high now, nor do they look like being very high later.
We're 10 minutes into the session now. 20 minutes left. 1 minute 20.967 is the fastest time, and Nelson Piquet, last year's winner, is the man who made it. This is Jean Alesi in the Ferrari. We've already had Johnny Herbert going off and thumping the back of the Lotus, which indicates that there are still 1 or 2 wet patches around the circuit. Plenty of time for them to dry out, hopefully when the sun comes out.
Yes, and of course this is an unforgiving circuit, and this is a chance for the drivers to play themselves in, so they have to have a go and chuck the car about, so mistakes are still prone on a circuit such as this, where the smallest error is punished very visibly. That was a locked brake and a spun Ferrari. So that's Alesi showing us his car control, or lack of it in the first place, and now he's done that rather well because he stalled it. So that was looked good for a moment.
Here we go, here's a replay. You can see it's still very damp from the vortices from the rear wing. He locks up there. Just left his braking a bit too late, gets offline, spins the car, whirls it round, but in the process stops, and that was at racetrack hairpin. position holder Ayrton Senna into and out of the S's. Watch the line as he goes into Wakefield turn. And watch his right hand, because by doing so you will see what an advantage the Williams drivers with their semi-automatic gearboxes have got. They can keep their hands on the steering wheel all the time. And here at Adelaide, it's very hard work. This race is going to last, getting on for 2 hours for the many, many laps that they have to cover. And you multiply the number of laps by the number of gear changes, and it's very hard work for the driver. Less hard work if you're in a semi-automatic gearbox car, provided the semi-automatic gearbox keeps working properly, which has been the Achilles heel of the Williams Renault this year. Gerhard Berger is now fastest, the teammate of the man we're riding with, Ayrton Senna, and the time has come down for the fastest man to 1 minute 19.1, which is 5 seconds slower than Ayrton Senna's pole position time yesterday. Now here's Piquet, and Piquet looks to me as though he's going for a quick one now. There's somebody in front of him who he will catch coming out of the right-hander at Brewery Bend, and hopefully get past on the Jack Brabham straight before he goes into racetrack hairpin. Now this is very interesting indeed. As I look at my times monitor, I see that not only is Maurizio Gugelmin 5th in the Leighton House car, but Karl Wendlinger, the German, the Austrian, who qualified 26th, is 8th fastest. And this is only his second Grand Prix appearance. Maurizio Gugelmin, the Brazilian, 5th fastest at the present moment. Alessandro Zanardi is moving up the listings. He's 8th fastest in the Jordan. So at the end of the 30-minute final half hour of practice, the top 6 cars are the same as those for the grid for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. But significantly, Alessandro Zanardi has moved up into 7th place in the Jordan and could be a very dark horse for the long, grueling and extremely tough Australian Grand Prix of 1991. And as I say that, Nigel Mansell moves up to 2nd fastest, only 1/10 of a second slower than Gerhard Berger. Riccardo Patrese makes it 2 Williams in the top 4, and 5th and 6th, the 2 Benettons of Michael Schumacher and Nelson Piquet. The stage is set for a superb Australian Grand Prix.